The main number one thing that always impressed me about Randy, in the real estate business, there's things you need to know, but everybody in the room probably knows what they need to know to be successful. The question is not knowing, the question is doing. Randy gets up and does it every day, 6 days a week. And so if you take away something that he's doing and the motivation, the inspiration to go do it, just do what you know. If you do what you know, then you will learn some other things and do it as well. So please help me welcome Randy Dyck.
Thanks, Ray. Is that eulogy or what?
What's that? You want the lights on or off?
Your call.
No, we'll leave them on. We'll see what happens.
I did this presentation on Wednesday, and most of the people in the room knew me very well. And so I had to be very truthful with what I was saying, because I had to be held accountable for everything I said. So there's Kurt knows me fairly well, but the majority you don't know me that well. You're gonna hold me to that. Who's been to a real estate conference before and heard a lot of BS? You know, when I go to a real estate conference and I talk to another agent and ask them how their year was, they usually say it was fantastic. And they give you all kinds of numbers and you go, holy cow. But you can't hold them accountable. So there's a lot of BS out there. What I'm going to do this morning is try and give you a perspective of how I do things and not give you a lot of BS. Just pretty basic stuff, but it's just stuff that you have to do every day. And some of it involves luck. Some of it involves how to shoot bullets instead of cannonballs. Some of it talks about being a 10Xer, discipline. So we're going to kind of go through a whole bunch of things, and I think if you apply some of the things that you'll hear this morning, you can take your business from 10 deals to 20 deals, 20 to 30, 30 to 50, maybe even 70 or 80 deals. And some of you are all at different levels, so you'll take what you can out of this morning and hopefully take your business to a new level. So who got caught by the title, Return on Luck? Who came because of the title? Mike? Yeah.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, you've heard of ROE, Return on Investment, ROI, Return on or ROE, equity, ROI, investment, right? But how about ROL, Return on Luck? I love that title. And I was saying to, I think, Michael earlier that I don't have a whole lot of things that are original. I try and steal somebody else's idea and apply it to my business, my life, my way of doing things. So the title I stole from a book called Great by Choice by Jim Collins. It's a great read if you haven't read it. So anyways, let's get rolling. Return on Luck. Who knows this guy named Marshall Bruce Mathers? Eminem. Eminem. I guess if you had a name like that and you're in the rap business, you need to change your name. Maybe you could change it to Randy Dyck. Randy Dyck has a lot of value. You know, I go around the world and people just giggle when they tell them my name. They really do. So I have some fun with it. Randy Dyck.
British people.
Yeah, they do. But this is just a great line of a song. Look, if you had one shot, or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment, would you capture it or let it slip? One shot, one moment, one opportunity, would you capture it or let it slip? In real estate, opportunities come to us every day. They pass in front of us at the coffee line, Starbucks, we're waiting in line, somebody sees your RE/MAX pin, they ask you, oh, you must be in real estate. What do you do with that? That's an opportunity. People call us and ask us for information on property. Opportunities, what do we do with those? Do we capture them or do we let them slip? Well, I'm going to start out with a luck story, a personal luck story. And I'm going to give you the front half of my luck story now and my back half, or the back half of the luck story right at the end. The setup for the story is something like this. It's May 14th, 1977. Now you know how old I am. I'm 14 years old. It's May 14th, 1977. I grew up on a farm in Pitcher Creek, Alberta. Small little cowboy town, southern Alberta, up against the Rockies. Anybody been there? It's beautiful when the wind's not blowing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When the wind's blowing, it's miserable. I'm a twin. I don't know if anybody knows that, but I'm a twin. I have an identical twin brother. His name is Gerald. I call him Jerry. And the last piece of the setup is that everything that Jerry and I did had a competitive thing about it. It was racing to the bus stop. It was rolling down the hill in a giant tractor tube to see how fast we could get going, who could get to the bottom without crashing. It was racing, this, that, motorcycles, go-karts. Everything had a competitive nature to it. And we would be able to look at each other and we wouldn't even say a word. We just know, race on, race on. So that's the setup. So May 14th, 1977, 6 o'clock. We're sitting at the dinner table and we're having dinner and my dad says, hey boys, that skateboard ramp in the front yard, just gotta go. Gotta get it out of the way. We have company coming this evening and I don't want it on the front driveway. My dad liked to have a very clean and tidy farm. So the skateboard ramp had to go. So we finish eating and we run downstairs and this is May 14th. Now, it was a late winter. Spring came late. And so there's still the odd snowdrift around and my snowmobile boots were still sitting there. You know, the ones with the felt liners, the big bulky things. So they are very easy to slide on. I'm downstairs, I slide on my big snowmobile boots. And out we go. We load up this skateboard ramp onto the back of the pickup. And being a twin, we shared everything. So we had one motorcycle for the two of us. And it was my turn to ride the motorcycle. Well, by the way, we shared everything. Underwear, pants, hats. No girlfriends though, no girlfriends. We didn't share any girlfriends. But as a twin, you share everything. So we shared this motorcycle. So anyways, we load up this motorcycle ramp and we're gonna take it out behind the outbuildings where the guests can't see it. Well, like everything, it was a competition. We looked at each other, guess we're racing to the outbuildings, right? So I jump on the motorcycle, Jerry jumps in the truck, and away he goes that way and I go this way and I go, well, that's not a fair competition. So I zip the bike around and I'm catching him and I'm just about up to him and I go, well, I've got two choices. I can go this way. Nope, there's a long building, about 120-foot Quonset on the right-hand side. Okay, I got room on the left side. I've got 8 or 10 feet of grass on the left side with a tall row of trees, and I'm just going to pass them on the left-hand side. No problem. In the distance is a building, about 130 feet away. I got lots of time. No problem. I'll pass them, get around this truck, and I'll win the race. I'm beside him and I'm starting to realize, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know if I'm going to make it around him. I better back off, pull him behind, and I'll take him after the building. But what was I wearing? I was wearing those big boots, right? I go for the brake, and my foot slips off the brake. Uh-oh. Hey, no problem. I still got lots of time. I go for the brake the second time. Guess what? It slips off again. Before I know it, into the building, torpedoing head first. I ricochet off, and I land on the ground with my hands beside my ears. And I'm just coming to, I'm thinking, what is going on? You know, I've crashed on the motorcycle many times. This time was different. This time was different. I'm laying there, and I can't move. I'm laying on the ground, and I'm just dazed, wondering what's happened, and I can't move. My brother, Jerry, comes around the corner. What do you think the first thing he says to me?
I won.
That's a good one. He says, look what you did to the bike. You wrecked our motorcycle. Our motorcycle's in a heap. You wrecked it. And I look up to him and I say, I can't move. I can't move. Help me up. He starts picking up my one arm. I said, no, don't do that, don't do that. Puts it back down. I said, go get help. The house is about 2 football fields away.
Oh.
He runs to the house. Meanwhile, all these thoughts start going through my head. Because last week, in my hometown of Pincher Creek, 2 people were paralyzed. One from the waist, one from the neck. And I'm thinking, am I going to be number 3 in that town of Pincher Creek that's been paralyzed? Well, just about then, my dad, my little brother, Jerry, show up. And my dad recognizes that I've probably got a spinal injury. So he starts asking me questions. Can you feel your hands? Can you move your hands? Can you move your fingers? I couldn't move anything. I'm laying like this still. How about your legs? I couldn't move my legs. Well, an ambulance, a neck brace, a backboard, loaded in the ambulance, drugged up, taken 120 miles to Calgary. Don't remember that visit or that drive at all. Wake up the next morning in Foothills Hospital in Calgary, and I'm kind of looking around the room. In fact, one of the guys from Pincher Creek that was paralyzed was in that room.
Yeah.
Now it's really coming clear.
Yeah.
It's really coming clear. I don't know if you remember those little cords you could pull to summon the nurse. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm going, I need some help. I look over, I see the cord. I can't pull the cord. I can't reach the cord. I can't move my arms to get the cord. By now they've moved my hands here. But this was still comfortable. That was day 1 of 2 months in Foothills Hospital. That's the front half of my luck story. I'll tell you the back half at the end. Luck. Luck. Return on luck. When you hear luck, what do you think? You think good, bad?
Good.
Good. Glass half full?
Mm.
Luck comes in many forms. It comes in randomness. It comes in providence. It comes in events, accidents, complexity. When you think of luck, are these some of the words that come to your mind, some of the thoughts that come to your mind? Yes, no? Well, luck is this generic word that we use for a lot of things, including some of these. Some cultures use luck a lot, like in their vocabulary. Luck is everything. I've got a friend named Jack. He is from mainland China, and he uses luck a lot in his language, his speech, his talks. So one of the things that is kind of interesting about Jack, we'll go golfing together, and I'll be standing over a short little putt, 2-foot putt, and I putt and I miss, and he goes, "Oh, Randy, so unlucky." "So unlucky, Wendy." And I go, "Jack, it's Randy, not Wendy." And no, it's not about luck, Jack. I'm a bad putter, right? I have a Vietnamese client that was busted for a grow up 3 times.
Oh, wow.
You know, and the same thing, this house is so unlucky. And I said, no, it's not about luck. You're growing dope. It's against the law. So luck comes in many shapes and sizes and things. And I think randomness, providence, events, accidents, and complexity are kind of luck events. But we'll just use luck today as that general term. And you can plug in what you think is the right word. So in Jim Collins' book, where I've got some of these luck ideas out of, he talks about 10Xers. Does anybody know what a 10Xer is? I think Nick does.
Those companies that perform like 10% better than everybody else.
10 times
Or
better.
10 times, sorry.
10 times better than the average company. So the companies like Microsoft, Southwest Airlines, Intel, right? These are companies that perform 10 times better than the average, which is incredible when you think about it. What about pardon me?
Remax?
What about Remax? Sure. What about realtors? What about real estate? What's a 10X realtor in real estate? What do you think a 10Xer is?
Randy Dyck.
Yeah.
Well, I think every one of you can be a 10Xer. And I'm going to share some of my secrets how I became a 10Xer. Thank you, by the way, for the compliment. A 10X agent would be what? The average agent sells 6 homes a year in the Fraser Valley. That's average. So 10X would be what?
60.
60 deals, 60, 70 deals. Every one of us is capable of doing 60 to 70 deals a year. Do you believe in it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just putting the fundamentals together and the disciplines together to do it. It's really not that hard. So some realtors thrive in those environments. Like these 10X companies that I'm talking about, you know, whether it's Southwest Airlines, they didn't have an easy go of it. They thrived when things were tough and uncertain, chaos. You know, when the market drops 50%, why do some agents actually grow their business? Right? 10Xers do that. I started in 1992. In 1994, it was basically like 2008. You know, 2008, the market went, right? Everything crapped out. In 1994, that's what happened to the market. 94 to 2001, the market was just as it is today. And I started in 1992. Well, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, like every year I grew my business. Why can't every one of you do that? Why can't we all become 10Xers? So 10Xers understand that the market's not always going to be favored in their direction. You just know that. Just know that it's not going to be, the market's not going to be turning right for you. You're going to create the market, not the market create you. Make sense? So, is a 10Xer a bold risk taker? What do you think?
In some people's perspective, but they have a different, I think they have a different perspective on what risk is.
I think they manage the risk better.
Okay. Any other thoughts on being bold risk takers?
Yeah.
Think so?
Sure.
Okay.
I think you have to do something.
Yeah. How about really fast at making innovative decisions? Changing your course of path with an innovative idea. You think 10Xers generally do that?
Find a better way. Yeah, sometimes.
Make radical decisions when the market changes in 2008. Holy cow, we gotta make some radical decisions. Michael's shaking his head. You think they get more luck? Make your luck, okay? I believe these are all myths. I think we often think that's what a 10Xer does, but I'll tell you, as I was growing my 10X business, and I maybe do things differently today, as Kurt was saying, like, depends where you're at in your mindset. Today I can make some bolder risks, or take some bolder risks, or make some innovative ideas just because of the size. I can risk a bit more. But when I was growing my business to a 10X business, I was not a radical risk taker. It wasn't radical innovative, changing innovative decision making or radical changes. I just stuck to this rhythm of doing things day in and day out and trying to service my clients as best I could. But I didn't make great big changes in my business. It was just the consistency of doing it day in, day out, day in, day out, month after month. So I believe these are all myths. So we know that we're going to continuously face challenges, right? Kurt, Nick, and I were at this great event on Tuesday night. Dr. Paul Stoles. Has anybody heard about Dr. Paul Stoles? No? Talked about challenges or adversity in our lives and what we do with adversity in our lives and how it actually fuels our decisions, fuels our makeup, how to become better at what we do. It was quite interesting when adversity comes. By the way, you guys just play along with me. Everybody put up your hands like this. He did this for us. It was really good. 20 years ago, how many adversity issues do you think you dealt with in a day? With a show of fingers. how many, 20 years ago, on a daily basis, how many major adversity issues did you face in a day?
Major, probably 0.
It was about 3, according to his work that he's done, right? Today, guess how many? With a show of hands. Michael says only 3? His research showed 27 to 30.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yep.
27 to 30. That's how much it's changed.
10 times.
10 times with, with technology and all the things that keep coming at us. It's radical how it's changed. So, 10Xers know how to face these challenges, and depending on how you look at adversity, you can either, what was it? Turtle, basically. 30% just turtle. 30%
Cope.
cope.
Cope, yeah.
30%
Manage.
manage.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I wrote down. 30% avoid it, actually.
Yeah.
30% avoid, 30% survive, just, okay, I'm just gonna survive this. 20% cope with it. 15% manage it. And 5% do what? They harness it. They make it, they use it as fuel, right? 10Xers use these as fuel. What in your business do you see as an adverse situation that you use as fuel? Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Social media.
Okay, like just dealing with all the social media?
Some people say, oh, it's too much, I can't handle it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about Michael's smiling? What do you think, Michael?
No, I just, all this, risk and adversity, I think everything that happens to us is, I don't see it that way at all. I love it all. Like, I love.
So use it as,
Yeah, I guess so.
as fuel.
I don't think we take any risks in our day. Like, I don't know what a risk for a real estate agent is. I just don't know what that is. So.
Well, there could be challenges. That could be difficult clients.
No, the challenges, but risk. Like, I don't see where we're like putting our skin on the line. You know what I mean? I don't see it that way. I love it all.
You're right. We have an incredible business where we put very little skin in the game for great reward. Really little skin for great reward. Like most businesses, you think of all the bricks and mortar and all that they have to put into it just to get their first dollar to come back, right? We have a very great business where we put very little skin in the game to make a lot of skin. So 10Xers, I mean, they look at market conditions, commission cutting, bad buyers, bad sellers, failed inspections, bad realtors working on the other end. And they just ignore it. They just carry on. We're going to do this, right? We need to take our responsibility of our own fate, not blaming anyone or anything. That's what a 10Xer does. So how do we do this as 10Xers? Fanatic discipline, number 1, right? Who in this room thinks they have fanatic discipline?
I don't know if I go as far as fanatic. Pretty good discipline.
I know Kurt does, yeah, I've watched you with your discipline. This one's interesting, experiential creativity. So we have all these experiences that we see on a daily basis, right? How to help our clients, what's happening in the marketplace. And then what do we do with it? Do we pour creativity into it, or do we just let those experiences go by and not bring the creativity to it? I know Michael does a lot of creativity with his paperless way of doing real estate. That is experiences that is very creative for his clients. What are we doing? What are you doing? 10Xers do this. They execute rather than just strategize. I love this. Execution eats strategy for breakfast. You know those people that sit around and strategize all the time, but they never get out and execute it? You probably know somebody in your office right now that's strategizing. He's going to strategize the entire day. Right? I mean, but they'll never get out and execute it. And the reason why I put breakfast instead of lunch is that you've got to get up in the morning and start this. You've got to execute right from the get-go. I'll execute in the afternoon. Oh, the afternoon comes and something gets in the way. And you gotta be ambitious, of course. I mean, there's just no substitute. Have you ever met an entrepreneur, which is what we are, that is not ambitious, that doesn't have a ton of enthusiasm, that isn't excited about getting up every day and meeting people, networking? I mean, that's what we are, right? We're in the people business. We're not in the selling of houses business. We're in people business. Anybody want to share anything on this slide? So discipline. Who has designed their day to have success? Who's designed a day for success? Anybody want to share their day?
I have designed days, but my discipline is not such that I do it every day. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to do it every day. My day is, I'll share a little bit of my day. This is what my day looks like. I wish I could do this every day. I can't do it every day, but I try every day. So my day starts between 5 and 5:30 in the morning. Not to say that your day has to, but what I want you to hear that in my point of how my day is, that you have to create your own day, and it has to be the same day in and day out. Not today, but it's going to be the same tomorrow, next week, next month, next quarter, next year, maybe next decade. Become a 10Xer. So my day starts at 5 or 5:30. I go to the gym. I come back home, I make a great breakfast because I need fuel. I build 2 meals. I take 2 meals with me every day because I don't know what my day is going to look like. Real estate's like that. You think you've got this structure in your day and it just gets thrown, right? So I bring 2 meals for me every day because I don't know when I'm going to catch my next meal. And I might not get home till 10 o'clock that night. Not saying that everybody has to do that, but that's the way I live my real estate. I had blocked time to prospect because what is the number one thing we need to do in real estate? Prospect, prospect, prospect. If you want to read a great book that will help you understand that, get Gary Keller's new book, The One Thing. The One Thing. And in real estate, it's about prospecting. Prospect, prospect, prospect. Who blocks time right now in their schedule for prospecting?
What does your prospecting time look like? Is that like networking events, or is it?
I block a time in my schedule that I'm going to follow up on prospecting. I'm going to call past clients. I'm going to call clients I'm working with, clients I want to work with. Just prospect. It's amazing what 2 hours of just dedicated to the phone will do. Where's the best way to prospect? Where do you guys find the best? Okay, so, but what tools do you use to prospect? Do you social media, Facebook, email, the phone, face-to-face?
Coffee.
Coffee?
Face-to-face.
Yeah. But the problem with face-to-face is you can only touch one person, right?
Yeah.
Social media, you can touch thousands at a time. But the telephone allows you to get in their head. And when you get in their head, you can go deep and curious. I always have this, when I call somebody, I go curious and deep, Brandon, curious and deep. I want to ask curious questions, and I want to go deep. Right? Curious question needs to then allow me to go deep and find out what they want, or what they're doing, why they're searching. Curious and deep. So that's, my day's got blocked time for prospecting, and then it's got time for working with buyers and sellers. But I want to do the one thing, I got to block the time for that one thing, which is prospect. If you can spend 2 or 3 hours prospecting every day, you'll be a 10Xer before you know it. You'll be so busy with clients.
So when do you do it? The prospect?
I do it from 9 to 11, or 9 to 12 if I can. Yeah.
Phone call.
Phone calls. Phone call. Or email. Yeah. So it's very disciplined. There's consistency of action to it at all times. Consistency with values, long-term goals, short-term goals. Who has short-term goals? Who has long-term goals, right? If you're, one of my other sessions I showed you, in fact, I don't have my wallet with me, but I carry my goals in my wallet. I've got personal goals and business goals, and I've got it laminated, and it's like a business card size, and I've got it in my wallet.
I did that.
Yeah.
After last time.
I sit on the toilet, got nothing to do, I look at my goals, right? But they're always with me. And I set performance standards for myself and the people around me as well. Do you have performance standards? Very important to have performance standards.
What's an example of that?
Well, how many deals do you want to do a month? So then you take you start with your performance standard of how many deals, and then you start backing up. How many calls does that mean? How many people do you need to contact? Well, back. In the web world, they call that the long tail, right, Michael? The long tail. So you just gotta.
But when you go back, it's amazing how little you have to do. It's amazing
Right.
when you. The big picture is so overwhelming, but when you go back.
Yeah, all of a sudden, oh, it's 2 hours of prospecting a day. That's easy. And I'm kind of repeating myself, but you got to be relentless, unbending on your focus. And sometimes you have to let some opportunities go that you think are good opportunities. Recently, I had an opportunity to market a 72-unit condo building, and the little voice in my head was saying, I don't know about that, Randy. The money was going to be good, but I just thought, I don't think it's the right thing to do. You ever heard that saying, it's tough to do a good deal with a bad person? I was getting that vibe, and I was thinking, you know what, I've been here before. I don't want to enter that program again, because it's just a lot of adversity that I don't want right now. And it was going to disrupt my discipline of my plan that was going to keep me at 10 extra. Because sometimes those big ideas can take you right off track, and you can lose what you've got going, right? The momentum that you have. Habitual rituals. You got to have habits that become rituals. So this one's fun. Experiential creativity. And again, my day's kind of built around this, but practical experiences that you have each and every day. So it's not just theory-based. You're actually living these experiences and finding ways to be creative for your clients. Your clients want you to be creative. How can you be different than all the others? Because we all look the same. We're all a bunch of Dalmatians, right? They all look the same, but there's one that's going to be a little bit smarter, a little bit faster in that group. That's the 10Xer, right? So how do we set ourselves apart from all the others? What makes us attractive to the buyers, the sellers? What can you bring to them? What kind of unique selling propositions do you have? Let's talk about a couple of those. I hope I got a pen here that I can easily board. So, what's the unique selling proposition? Does anybody have one that sets you apart from all the others? All the other Dalmatians in the room? What about this one? Could you not say to your buyer, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, I know this driveway is maybe a little bit steep and you're having some concerns about that, but remember, I've got this unique feature that when you work with me, that if you do not like this driveway in 6 months, I will come back and sell your home for free. I will eat the commission side of from the transaction on my side. So basically, I'm guaranteeing that you're going to love this house. If you don't, call me back. In fact, I'll check back every 3 months just to make sure you still like that driveway. If you don't like the driveway, I will sell your house for free. Do you not think that's going to be easier for you to get them on paper when they're looking at this driveway and you go, hey guys, you don't like this driveway? Remember, I've got that guarantee. If you're not satisfied with your home, I'll sell your home for free in 6 months. Is that not going to get you to write a little bit easier? Is that not going to give them confidence? They're going to say to their friends, our real estate agent said we have a money-back guarantee. Right? What about this one? Have you ever done a reverse offer? Does anybody know what a reverse offer is?
Yes.
You've got a listing. You've had somebody who's come through twice with another agent, not even your client. You know they like it, but in this marketplace, it's hard to get people to write a deal. It's hard to get them on paper, right? The hardest thing today is getting that ball rolling. So what you do is you go meet with your sellers and say, you know what, we've got some people that are really keen here, but we just can't seem to get them on paper. Let's do this. Let's reverse the role. Let's do the hard work for the other agent. Let's write an offer and send it back to the buyer. So we're listed at $500,000. Why don't we write an offer at $490,000 with the subjects for the buyer, you know, a completion possession adjustment dates that we're comfortable with, let's say 45 days out, and let me take it back to the other agent and help him with his work, help him get his clients on paper, because they're already on paper. So two things happen. One is you sometimes make the deal because it gets that buyer to the table. Oh, they'll take 485 or 490 or 480 or whatever, right? It's almost like a price reduction. But you've done all this heavy lifting for the other agent. But it makes you look like a hero in front of your sellers. I do it sometimes just to look like a hero and get a price reduction. Right? How many people need a price reduction on some of the listings right now? Right? The key to price reduction, for me anyways, being creative, again, how can I be creative with my experiences? So, during the listing appointment, I'm talking price reduction well before I get the price reduction. How about if we do this? We talk about pools or bins of buyers. And again, let's choose the number of $500,000. So we've got a home, and I get my clients to actually help me price the home. I want them to have some ownership of that price. Because when I come back to them in 30 days, or 21 days, whatever I think I need to do, I said, well, I mean, you guys picked that price. I didn't think that was the right price. You picked that price. You wanted that price. So I'll go through comparables with them, just like we all do, right? And I'll say, what do you think it's worth? I've got a few ideas, but what do you think it's worth? Well, we think it's worth X. Give me a range between $20,000 or $25,000. So let's just say it should be priced at $479 or $480 or something like that. And they think it's worth $500. So they're going to go, well, we think it's worth $5 to $525. Okay, great. Well, if that's what we think it's worth, and our group of buyers is in this pool of price, my 55, who has a 55-point marketing plan? Who has an 86-point marketing plan? Do you know how many marketing touches you have? That you need to know that. You need BS it if you have to. But you need to talk like you've got the plan. So, my 55-point marketing plan, I'll be able to touch every buyer in this price range. If you think it's worth $5 to $525, I'll be able to touch every buyer in that price point. And in 21 days, if nobody bites, there's no buyers, this is what I would suggest we do, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I would suggest that we actually take it off the market. Take it off the market? Like, cause them to think about what you're doing. Like, if you just go through the motions like they're expecting, they're going to go, oh, just another agent. But cause them to go, what's going on? You're going to terminate the listing? Yeah, I'm going to terminate the listing because I don't want us to be on the market for more than 30 to 45 days. Because we start to look stale like bacon. Okay? But, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm going to come back on the market here in 3 days. But you know, this is not the price anymore. We exhausted that buyer pool, right? We've touched every buyer in that pool with the marketing. So now we got to come back at $475 to $500. And now I'm going to go work that buyer pool as hard as I can again with my 55-point marketing plan. And you know what? Guess what? If we don't get it sold here, I'm terminating the listing again. This is where you know, most agents won't do this because it's work. They don't want to do this. It's work. It takes a lot of effort, it takes paperwork, costs a little bit of money. But you're really important to me. I want to make sure that I do the best job I can. Remember, I'm working for you. Not working for anybody, I'm working for you. So we're going to go and spend some effort, money. We're going to do this all over again. And we're going to go and look for a new pool of buyers until we get it sold. So what's really cool is this. I do this all the time. They're all on board here. They're returning my calls. We get here, still pretty good. We're getting over here, they ain't returning my calls anymore because they know it's coming 21 to 30 days. But I've trained them on day 0 that this is going to be happening. And you can do that in so many ways. Whatever you need, remember, you're the leader, they're the follower. They need somebody to follow. Everybody needs somebody to follow. Yes, Mike?
During the presentation, how often do you have the sellers say, well, then let's start at box number 2? Like, is it a pricing thing where they go, let's just get rid of the first box and then don't waste our time?
That's a really good point. So sometimes I say, like, how important is that?
Yeah.
It's really important. Then why are we starting here? We should come to this box right away. And you can even have sold here or terminate. You can have like two circles. Like, which one do you want? If this is what you want, we should just go straight here. And you doodle it out. I mean, I have this on my listing presentation, my iPad, and I've got it also. But it's better when you doodle. People need to see doodle. The napkin effect is wonderful. So, you know, experiential creativity. You've got to be creative in how you present things. You have to be a storyteller. Who's a storyteller in this room? Right? When you can tell a story, people buy into it. People buy into it.
So for your first, on the first box, do you ever say, why don't we throw in, if you want to go to that price, why don't we throw in an extra $5,000 bonus to the buyer's agents so that we actually do cover off that box?
I don't do bonuses.
Okay.
I don't believe, for me, bonuses, I'm not a bonus guy. I want to get price, because if I can get the right price, I may even have the right buyer, and then I don't have to talk about bonus when I'm dealing with my offer. I'm just going to take a bigger commission anyways.
What do you mean by taking the bigger commission?
I'm going to take a commission that's 7 and 3.5, or maybe even 7 and 4.
Right.
So and then I'm going to have a line share of that 7 and 3.5 or 7 and 4 because it's going to be 3.22 to the selling agent. Right. 1.15. Who takes a 7 and 3.5? Ever taken a 7 and 4?
Not yet.
It's easy. All you have to do is give them value. Oh, by the way, this 55-point marketing plan, it's 7 and 3.5. But if you want these 5 extra marketing pieces, because you know, market's tough, and this could be the difference to getting that sold. So in your case, it's only going to cost you $2,000 more for this marketing plan. But if I can get your house sold in 23 days or less, which I think I can with this marketing plan, if you price it here, would that be worth it? Yeah, we really want to get going. Okay, 7 and 4. Own it. When you own it, when you lead, they follow. So I think 10Xers have a lot better understanding of this creativity. That's what gives them the difference between all the other Dalmatians in the room. It really does. 20 Mile March. Another piece out of Jim Collins' book. Who knows what 20 Mile March is? $20 Mile March was something that 2 explorers, or 1 explorer used. Amundsen and Scott. Does anybody know who Amundsen and Scott are? These two guys raced to the South Pole in 1910. Amundsen reached it in 1911, but they raced to the South Pole. They both basically started at the same time, and both had a different approach. Amundsen was very disciplined. He went to the North Pole, lived with Eskimos, learned how they lived in the cold for 6 or 8 months of the year. He learned how to eat raw seal meat, how to stay healthy eating raw seal meat. He learned how to raise huskies and how they handled the cold. He would do things like take the sleds and minimize all the extra weight so he'd make it light. He only took the amount of resources and tools that he absolutely needed. He calculated what he needed, and that's all he took. On his trip, he only took 10 pictures, the entire trip. So on the other side, there's Scott, another explorer. Scott figured, you know what, he's going to bring a whole lot of gear along. He's going to do experiments along the way. He's going to bring horses that can carry more gear, bigger sleds, right? He took 2,000 pictures. Can you imagine how much time that took to take 2,000 pictures? Today we have the digital, click, 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 but back then in 1910 to take a picture? Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
Hold that smile for 20 minutes, right? So he forgot why he was there. Scott did not have the one thing on his brain. He had many things on his brain. At the end of the day, Amundsen said, we're going to do 20 miles a day, no more, no less. On a good day, 20 miles, even if the weather was fantastic and they were rested. 20 miles, stop, rest. On a bad day, they would push to try and find 20 miles. If they didn't quite get 20 miles, they would do their very, very best to get 20 miles. Scott, on the other hand, hey, it's a great day, let's go 30. Let's go 30, we can do 30 today. But when the weather is bad, they would just hunker down and sit in their tents. It's a bad day. We'll make it up tomorrow. We'll make it up tomorrow. Well, those horses that you thought were so strong, they all died. So then they started pulling the sleds themselves. Right? Pretty tough to pull a sled for a human being. At the end of the day, Amundsen got to the South Pole first, planted his flag, took 10 pictures. That's the only place he took pictures, at the South Pole. What's the point of taking pictures in case if we don't get to the South Pole? Planted his flag, came back 20 miles, 20 miles, 20 miles. Arrived back at his original destination on the day he said he would. Discipline, consistency. No different than us in real estate. What do we do each and every day? Are we going to get the consistent result each and every day? Scott didn't make it back. His whole team died. Didn't make it. So, do you want to be a 10Xer or do you want to not make it? So, the one thing, Amundsen understood the one thing. We need to understand the one thing, and I think that's prospecting. The 20-mile march has 7 characteristics according to Collins, and that is a clear performance marker. So what is your daily clear performance marker every day? Are you going to do 2 hours of prospecting every day, every day, every day? Self-imposed, you're going to put that into your daytime, you're going to do it. You're going to actually hold yourself accountable. Appropriate to the specific enterprise, you know what you need to do. Proper time frame, long enough to manage, short enough to have teeth. I was mentioning to Nick and Kurt that I'm going away next week on a vacation. Going to the Caribbean with my wife. We do this every year. We call it our honeymoon. Every year we go on a honeymoon. But I do that because I need a race to run. I need the South Pole race to run. And I run it hard. But then I need to decompress and I need to reconnect with myself, my wife, my kids. But I need these short-term goals to get something. I need a prize. And I'll run as hard as I have to. I'll put in 80-hour weeks if I have to meet my goals. Not to say you have to do that, but that's just me. So it's got to be short enough that it's manageable, but it's gotta be, long enough to manage, but short enough to have teeth. And it's gotta be within my control. I know it's within my control. I've done it year after year. I know I can handle that. And I impose it upon myself for the standards within my team. I have a standard. You don't meet my standards, there's trouble. Gotta meet the standards. And we've all achieved it with high consistency. So the challenge is, are we up to that? Are we up to the 20-mile march? We know it's not gonna be easy. We know it's gonna be tough. Market's tough, challenging. Going to the South Pole wasn't gonna be an easy feat. Somebody did it. So why can't we all be 10Xers? Everyone in this room can be a 10Xer. What do you think that title means?
Slow thing.
Right? Before you shoot the big things. So back when they used to fight on the water between ships with cannonballs, they would shoot bullets first to make sure that they knew the trajectory, right? Because they only had so many cannonballs. We in real estate, we only have so many marketing dollars or so much energy or time. So let's be careful with what we do. Let's find our trajectory and make sure that we're actually making contact or getting traction on something before we load up the cannons and shoot the big guns. Does that make sense? What are some of the little things that we can do before we shoot the big things in real estate? What do you think they are?
Well, as far as marketing or prospecting, it's doing things that have low cost, reaching into a demographic. So if you're trying to pick a target market, say a particular neighborhood, doing things that are not going to cost you a ton of money before you actually start really investing in marketing in that neighborhood.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've done them both. Sometimes the least expensive marketing piece is actually the most productive marketing piece. Digital billboards. You know those big digital billboards? Last year we had new digital billboards in Abbotsford, and I went on them. $6,500 a month. $6,500 a month, and you had a 6-month contract. Taxes in, it was about $45,000 for 6 months. I don't know, I don't think I got any business out of it. I should have shot some bullets, not cannonballs.
Thanks for learning that lesson for us.
I think there was, you have to justify everything. Right? I think there was some value to it, branding value, but it was like, huh? Right? We do a lot of things in real estate that we think are going to bring us some deals, but it's the little things. It's really coming down to prospecting, one-on-one telephones that are going to make us the business, and they're bullets. You don't have to spend cannonballs on that. Don't try and reinvent the program. Make slight adjustments. I think it's just a really expensive learning lesson. So do the low cost things, low distractions. Some of those big things can be very distractive too. You know, what would you rather have? A number of great buyers, great sellers that are going to be, you know, maybe smaller commissions in your mind, or a great big project that's going to totally consume you. Because a project, I've done a number of projects, and you meet with a developer, and that project doesn't start till 12 or 18 months down the road. But they want all your time today. So you meet with them, taken away from prospecting, taken away from, you know, the condo deal, the house deal. But, oh, I got that great big prize over here. You plan all their marketing, you build all their marketing, you build a website for them. You're spending energy, time, money. And then that project doesn't go off. The market changes. The developer says, I'm not doing it. Right? So be careful where you spend your energy. Don't always think it's got to be the cannonball. Often, it's a lot better to do the low risk, low distractions. kind of like taxi driving, right? Take these little taxi, if you're a taxi driver, you take the little taxi pickups, or you can do the airport one. And you wait at the airport for an hour for the right guy, right? Do the little ones, right? And rather than waiting for the big limousine ride. Okay, let's go back to luck, because luck's way more exciting than discipline. So we talked earlier on good or bad. Kurt says it's all about good. What about bad luck?
Bad luck can be good.
Mm-hmm. You know, Colin's book talked about luck. And, you know, we have our events here, randomness, providence, accident, other words for luck. So, on good luck or bad luck, well, we know we can get great return on good luck, right? If we marry the developer's daughter, we get hundreds of listings, right? Marry for success, right?
Is that what you did?
Well, you know,
Secret.
with a last name like Dyck, you'd think I know everybody in the phone book, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's this many Dicks, and a lot of other Dicks too. But I only have one Dyck relative in Abbotsford, and that's my twin. That's it. So I didn't marry the developer's daughter. But we can get great return off good luck, but we can also get bad return, right? You can see an opportunity, one moment in time. Are you going to let it slip, or are you going to capture it, right? Opportunities come every day, and we can just pass them, let them pass by. Tuesday night, Nick, Kurt, and I were at Rain, and I didn't do any networking. I wasn't in the mood to network that night. Did I let opportunities slip away? Absolutely. Because when I go to Rain, who knows what Rain is? Real Estate Investment Network. If you're not a member of it, you should. There's a room of about 350, 400 investors in this room, and you get to snuggle up to them.
Every month.
Every month. It's pretty incredible. So that's a really good opportunity there. But I didn't work my room that night. Just an opportunity, I'm sure. We obviously know that you get bad returns on bad luck, but I truly believe, and this is apparent in my life, that I can get a good return on bad luck. Definitely can. In Colin's book, and he's got this crazy formula for deciding if it's a luck event or not, but he says 10Xers actually had 75% bad luck. They had more bad luck than the non-10X companies. Do you think 10X real estate agents have more bad luck than non-10X agents? You don't think so? No?
Statistically, the more work you do, the more things come across. The higher likelihood of the little sideways.
Sure. The more deals you work on, the greater the risk, right? Something not working out. More people you touch. The non-10Xers in Colin's book had 60% bad luck. So I would say it's not what the event is, but it's who, because if everybody's getting the same amount of bad luck relatively, it's what you're doing. It's really who you are. It's not the event. It's who you are that's going to change that. So in real estate, I really believe it's how you approach it that's going to make the difference. And really, I think luck's about people. It's about people. We or businesses either strive or get crushed when the tough stuff comes. Right? Does anybody know? Just think of somebody in your office that you think, man, just keeps going, or she just keeps going. Doesn't matter what comes her way, just like clockwork, right? And then you could think of the reverse or the opposite, that it seems like every little thing crushes the people. Okay? What's the difference? It's who they are. It's about who, not about what. It's about who. So there's byproducts of bad luck, good byproducts. Does anybody have an idea what those byproducts would be?
Clients will listen to you better.
Yes. when things get tough, it's a catalyst. I mean, we talked about adversity, right? Like some strive in adversity. It actually fuels them. It just makes them better, stronger, faster. They have new ways, they get more creative. They get recommitted to what they're doing. I mean, when I have some tough times in my business, and they come all the time, I get recommitted. I totally get recommitted. I get people around me to get recommitted, and I'm being told to shut it down right
No,
now.
I'm just saying 10-minute break, and it's okay.
10 minutes? Let me just go through this, and then we'll have a 10-minute break. Discipline, of course, that's really common, right? You get redisciplined. Creativity is heightened. For me, creativity really does get heightened when adversity comes my way. How can I work my client out of this, or what can I do? There's an oil tank. What are we going to do? How are we going to work our way out of this? We don't think we should move ahead with the deal. Why? Let's get curious and deep. Why don't you want to go ahead with the deal? Well, it's going to cost us way too much money. Well, what if I could find a way that it's not going to cost us more money? Because you really, this is the neighborhood you wanted, right? Yeah. But we don't want that oil tank. Well, we'll get the seller to take care of that oil tank. But we didn't have it in the contract. Oops. But the seller's going to take care of that oil tank. How are we going to work this out? So you just, ways to get creative to make it happen. And heightened paranoia. You ever been in a situation where you go, I don't know, something's not right here, right? I'll tell you a story about heightened paranoia that I didn't act on that I should have acted on. Does anybody know the Bacon Brothers? The Bacon Brothers, right? Does everybody know that I sold the Bacon Brothers family home?
Before or after?
This is about 2 years ago.
Wow. Oh, a mess.
It's about this time 2 years ago. I get a call. Susan Bacon. Not the Susan Bacon, I'm thinking. I'm curious. I'm always up for a challenge. Hey Susan, it's Randy Dyck here from the Xmas Real Estate Team. Yeah, we'd like you to come over and help us sell our house. Oh, what's your address? Such as Strathcona Street. Oh. Whereabouts is that street? So I went and met with David and Susan Bacon, the parents of the Bacon boys. And we had a really frank, open discussion. I said how difficult their house is going to sell. Nobody's going to want to live on the street. Nobody's going to want to be in your house. By the way, you got to take all those bars off the windows and this and that.
Did you wear a vest?
I'm a really trusting guy. Too trusting, probably. And I was up for the challenge. But there's a small voice in my head saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, anyways, I listed the house for what I thought was a really good deal. Because I told them, you're going to have to be priced super, super sharp. Well, 4 months goes by, I had 2 showings. Gorgeous homes. I said, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Bacon, we need to have a realtor's open. I need to get some realtors through this house to see what they're missing out on. So I did a realtor's open, and I built a flyer that said something like this. Come have lunch at the infamous Bacon House. Caught everybody's attention, caught somebody's attention so well that they sent it to the media. One of our own, a realtor. Off to the media, and all of a sudden I've got a newspaper reporter with a camera at my front desk of my office, wanting to interview me. We're interviewing neighbors on the street. They get some of the so some things happen. You just go, oh, why did I do that? They got the Surrey 6, the kill. So they got some of the Surrey 6 that were involved to do the interview. It was terrible. It was on the front page of the Vancouver Sun. You remember that guy that wore the mask like he was an old fellow, but he was a young fellow coming from China? That's the paper. I was right beside him. Front news. Realtor selling Bacon House. Or what was the headline? It was something like creative angle on selling the Bacon's house or something like that, right? Anyways, it really caused a crap storm in the office, like my own personal office. And I mean, I should have been listening to my voice. I won't sell another gangster's house. Anyways, some byproducts of bad luck. Well, let's break and we'll tear into some other things.
Are you gonna finish the story about how you sold the house?
How I sold the, okay. The best part, so, yeah, I will finish.
We survived.
It caused so much heat that I thought, I can't take my office through this. And the phone was ringing off the hook. Like, you beep, beep, beep,
Oh,
beep,
wow.
beep, beep. Email. Like, it was horrible.
Oh,
It was
wow.
horrible. And I'm thinking, justify again. I was thinking, listen, I'm doing our community a favor.
Yeah.
I'm helping us get rid of these people because they're moving out of the city.
Yeah.
So I'm helping our community get rid of these people that we don't want in our community. I'm cleaning up that street. Every neighbor on that street is going to be better for it. And whether you have your faith-based or what, here's a way for me to touch some people that maybe nobody ever listened to them, right? Because I went into their home and we had, the discussions we had, they were incredible. It was a fun appointment every time I went there. I was like, good, I'm going to see David and Susan. What's on the agenda today, I'm wondering, So I tried to actually release myself of that listing. I said to David and Susan, I said, you know what, I just can't take this. I need to have you work with somebody outside of our community. Because right now, they're basically ready to gun down any realtor right now that's an Abbotsford agent. So why don't we send it to an agent in Vancouver, Surrey, Kelowna, anywhere, just to get a local name off this sign. And they looked at me like they were so disappointed in me. And you say what you want about, like, you raise gangster kids, they all turn out to be gangster kids, like, what are you? But, there's compassion involved as well, and empathy, right? And they just, their hearts just dropped. It was just like, boom. And they said, I'm getting another agent to help you. I can't do this. I'm going to transfer the listing. And I left. I thought, you know what? I've gone 3 laps this 4-lap race. I think I'm doing the right thing. Justify. And so I called them up and I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that to you. I'm gonna push through and get this home sold for you. But here's what you have to do. Got to reduce the price by 50 grand. This cannot be in my inventory in 2 weeks. Reduced it, sold it the next week. People got a great buy. They moved on. And I was just thinking about this the other day. I listed another house in that street, and I listed another house in that street. People are just coming to me as if I'm the hero on that street now. I listed one just 2 nights ago. But Jamie Bacon gets shot down in Kelowna. No mention of Abbotsford anymore. Right? They find the killers. They solve the case. No mention of Abbotsford again. And I'm thinking, where were you? Like, where are you now?
That
Where are you
should have
now?
been on your flyer the first time you were cleaning up the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it ended. So people luck. It's about luck and it's about people. We're in the people business. Any takeaways from the first half? Anything we need to kind of? Any questions, or should we just keep rolling? Keep rolling. Okay. Okay. So these are people that will bring you luck. Mentors in your lives. Who has mentors? Everybody's got to have a mentor, right? Got to have some mentors. Anybody got a teammate? Right? They bring you luck. How about friends? Friends can bring you luck, right? Spouses or significant others. These are all people you think of. But the next one, I'm not sure you'd think of this. How about random acquaintances? People that you meet for just a moment in time. Somebody that you've met for 5 minutes. Does anybody have a random acquaintance that's brought you luck?
Yeah.
Do I share it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Anybody want to share their random acquaintance that brought luck?
Well, I guess definition of luck can be whatever. It's an individual.
Well, it
but
could be an
for-
event. It
so-
could be
So
an
yesterday,
accident.
I mean, yesterday I was at Starbucks and struck up a conversation with someone beside me, and we had a fantastic conversation. It may come into something business related in the future, but for that moment and for the rest of the day, it gave me a little bit more confidence. So, absolutely.
Absolutely. There's people every day that we meet that it's a random acquaintance. One shot, one opportunity. Are you going to seize it or let it slip? They're all around us. And you don't know what's all packed in that brain or what they have on their mind or what their goals are, but you have to be curious enough to ask. And when they open up, you go deep and you find out what they're about, what they need. Everybody wants some sort of leadership. Even top leaders want somebody to lead them in something else. Like when I go to buy something, when I go buy a TV, I don't want to research it. I just want to go in the shop. I want somebody to lead me to the right TV. He wants me to lead him to the right real estate decision, right? Random acts, random acquaintances. So I'm going to share a concept about this that is a little different than maybe you've heard. We all know about confidence, how important confidence is what we do, right? When we lead, we have to lead with confidence. Without confidence, nobody's going to follow, right? The greatest leaders had a ton of confidence, backed up by credibility, right? People would trust them. What's the definition of trust?
Believing in.
So, this is my definition of trust. T for timely. Whatever I do is timely. R for reliable. Say I'm going to do something, do something. I'm going to be useful at it. Whatever it is, I'm going to bring the usefulness to you. S is for sexy. If I'm going to give you something, I want to make sure it's sexy. It's looking good. And the last one is I have to show you that I'm tenacious. That's trust. Timely, reliable, useful, sexy, tenacious. So people want to see that in you, and when you do that, they'll have confidence in you. So, how do you get confidence from these people? These people want to give you luck. I can go to you, Kurt, and I can say, Kurt, you're going to go out on this listing appointment, or I've introduced somebody to you, and I have all the confidence that you're going to nail that listing appointment. Pat you on the back, you feel pretty good about it, right? Randy believes in me. I'm going to get that listing. But what if we take a different approach? What if we do this? What if we talk about borrowing confidence? So borrowing, let's take it away from confidence, talk about money. Kurt, you want to borrow some money from me? I agree. Banker Randy says, yeah, Kurt, I'll lend you some money. I'll lend you $500,000. But Kurt, what I want you to do is I want you to sign this agreement with me. It says you're going to pay me back principal and interest on such and such a day. It's going to have a term of X, lifetime. But the concept that I'm going to give you something, you have commitments to pay me back, right? So what if you said, or had the concept that all these people are borrowing you their confidence? So on my team, I've got a new guy called Andreas. He's young, he's 22. He's like a Jack Russell. He's like jumping around. Yesterday, this is really cute. Yesterday he had a listing appointment, a 3-hour listing appointment. He nailed it. He got a 7 and 4 commission structure on it. He was so happy. Then he went and showed 2 other clients' homes, and he texted me at 9 o'clock, says, I'm going to bed. I'm exhausted. But I said to Andreas, listen, Andreas, I'm going to borrow you everything I know, everything I have. I'm going to give you confidence, tools, resources. But you know what? You have to pay me back. I'm not just going to give it to you. I'm going to borrow to it I'm gonna borrow it to you. I'm gonna lend it to you. And you're gonna borrow it from me. And so he went away thinking that he's got a lot more on the line, right? So when you use that thought, that terminology, you take whatever you can get from these people a little bit different. You take it a little bit more serious. So when you're borrowing something from somebody, you're getting luck from somebody, you gotta pay them back. Do you understand that concept? Does it change it a little bit? Does it make you more committed to making sure you don't miss those opportunities? Oprah, she's got to be the luckiest, richest woman in the world, right? You think she's lucky?
She worked for everything she's got.
Good brain, that's right.
She's got a good brain, yeah.
Good brain.
She's gifted, she's talented, but she also seized opportunities. Those opportunities just didn't fall in her lap. She went out, she found them, and she seized them.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. I recently went and saw Oprah. Did anybody else see Oprah? Yeah. So I didn't go to see Oprah. I had alternative reasons to go see Oprah. I like Oprah, but I'm not like this diehard Oprah fan that I had to go. And I'll tell you about the Oprah story in a bit. But Oprah shared this story at Rogers Arena, and I didn't know it. Do you know how she got into the movie Color Purple? Does anybody know the story? Well, there was a book first, right? There's always a book before the movie. She read the book and she said, you know what? I am Sophia. I am definitely Sophia. By this time, she was already doing some news reporting, so she'd had some experience being in front of the camera and doing her thing. But she says, I'm definitely Sophia. And somehow she even got in front of the casting director to say, I want to be cast for this movie Color Purple. And I think I'm Sophia. And the casting director said, well, listen, no experience in acting. You've just barely done some news reporting. By the way, all this she said, so don't take it the wrong way. By the way, you're fat. And, you know, we've got a list of qualified actors way in front of you. So, like, what are you doing here? Like, get out of here. But she was so convinced that she was Sophia that she bought books, she gave out books to friends, mentors, teammates, acquaintances, and said, I am Sophia. I will be in this movie. And she just kept driving that point home, driving that point home. She got another interview with the casting director and said, I want another opportunity. The guy says, okay, whatever. You're relentless. Like, get out of my life. Come one more time and get out of my life. Again, he turned her away and said, like, get out of here. You're still the same. No experience. You're fat. You're not right for the movie. Leave me alone. She left, of course, depressed. She enrolled in, today we call them wellness centers. Back then they called them fat farms.
Yeah.
She went, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
She went to the fat farm. She's walking the track, depressed. I'm at a fat farm. I gotta lose weight if I ever want to be in any movies. And one of the fat farm workers comes out and says, Oprah, there's a fellow on the phone by the name of Steven Spielberg. He'd like to talk to you. Picks up the phone.
No.
Hey Oprah, it's Steven Spielberg. I want you to be in the movie. You're gonna be Sophia, and don't lose another pound. That's how she got into the movie. Do you think she got high return on luck? She took the opportunity and she seized it. She absolutely seized it. Is Oprah the only one in the world that gets these opportunities? We all have them. We all can seize them. We can, you know, I don't know if willing is the right word, but we can will goodness in our lives, luck events in our lives. And really, I think it comes down to mindset over skill set. So, Dr. Paul Stoles, and I saw these statistics before I saw him on Tuesday. So that's why I was so excited to see him on Tuesday. But he says mindset is the key. It's the absolute key over skill set. You can learn skill, you cannot learn mindset. Skill set changes every day. When I started real estate 20 years ago, one-page contract. No internet. no email, no social media, no paperless real estate. We have to change our skill set, but it's the mindset allows us to say, I want to continue to learn, I'm going to learn, I'm going to learn. Just some of these stats, look at this. Hiring the best, 98% would hire mindset over skill set when they interviewed all the top companies around the world. Retention, 68 would retain a person based on mindset over skill set. They would promote over skill set. I like this one the most. Delivering value. When asked how many normal employees they would trade for one person with a winning mindset, the employer's average response was 7.2. 7. So, how do we relate that to real estate? How many times have you competed to get the listing? I compete a lot. Maybe when you're not a 10Xer, you don't compete as much, I believe. You're getting more introductions and referrals. But as a 10X agent, you're going to be faced with competing against that seller's best friend, neighbor, brother, uncle. What kind of game are you going to bring that's going to significantly change the way they look at you? First, it's got to be mindset. Are you an Eeyore or a Tigger? Everybody knows who Eeyore and Tigger are, right?
Yeah.
People want to be around positive, enthusiastic, entrepreneurial people. Tigers. What is your mindset? There's some listing appointments I've been in. I know I've gone against 7 people. I didn't win them all the time. It should have been better. Mindset's really, really important. Anybody want to share on mindset, what you do to prepare your mind for the day? Yes.
My girls are in softball.
Yeah.
When you get up to that plate, my husband drilled into them. Batting changes constantly. You can go on the internet, you can talk to different coaches, university coaches, constantly, every day, somebody has some other technique of hitting. But my husband says it's all up in here. It's between these 2 ears of what you do when you get up to that plate and how you're going to hit the ball, and you have to visualize.
It's a beach ball, right? You're
That's
going to
all
hit a
it
beach
is.
ball.
And
Not a
that's what it is
softball.
in life.
Anybody else?
Reading good stuff in the morning when you wake up is a good way to get your mind.
Awesome. Yeah.
There's a book called As a Man Thinketh. I mean, it's a short book, it's just small, but I read just one page of it, and the whole thing is just packed with awesome stuff. So that really gets me thinking, on a different level instead of, my own little problems that I might have during the day. What's the bigger picture? So,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think mindset can be learned, right? And it changes like skill set does, but it's obviously more important. But I think it can be learned.
Absolutely.
And I think it has to be learned, really.
My mindset's changed drastically over the years. It really, it has. As you grow as a person, a 10Xer, your kids change you. You want to be different in front of your kids. Your mindset can change. You can learn it, but again, I'm going to come back to Dr. Stolz because he spoke so much about this. They took insurance agents, hired new insurance agents, and they hired on the the quotient? Adversity quotient, yes. Adversity quotient or skill. And they divided into 2 groups, adversity quotient high, poor skill. And they called them the experimental whatever, right?
The rejects, basically.
The rejects.
Because their skill was so low, so according to the industry, they were poorly prepared for what the industry was going to throw.
And it was 200 people, right?
250.
250. These guys became the top insurance agents. And the skill guys, and you think real estate's hard, insurance is even harder. It had an 85 or 88 percentile fail rate.
I'll attest to that.
Yeah. It's hard to sell insurance. It's easy to sell a home. The emotional value of a home. No, not everybody thinks they should have insurance, everybody thinks they should have a house.
Well, you can't see it either.
Right. Gotta be a good storyteller. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So some of the takeaways from luck, mindset over skill set, we just talked about that. Does anybody know what the Deming's rule is? Deming's rule is about being competent and conscious, or competent and unconscious. So, you know, little analogy, two golfers. It's just, I'll just keep the competent, conscious, competent, unconscious. So two golfers, they're both great golfers. But the competent, conscious golfer is at the range every week practicing his game. He's hitting 300 balls a week. He gets to the course 40 minutes early. He's had a good meal before he's come. He's proteined up, ready for the game, right? He's on the putting green doing a few putts. He's practicing his game all the time. Gets on the first tee, it's methodical, it's disciplined. Lines it up, bam, beautiful shot, you know, 300 yards right down the middle. The competent unconscious, he's gifted and talented too. He doesn't practice, he's just a gifted guy. He comes to the course 10 minutes prior, he's grabbing a dog at the window, he's still eating it at the first tee, drops the dog on the ground, tees it up, walks up, bam, hits a 300-yarder right down the middle as well, right? Both are good, both get the job done. Let's put some money on the line now. Let's make it challenging. The wind's coming up. There's a water hazard in front. Who do you think you're going to put your money on now? The competent, conscious. So in real estate, what are you doing to be competent, conscious? We talked about reading in the morning. I talk about scripts. I have scripts that I know work every time. They don't sound like scripts when I use them. I'll have 10 or 15, well, I got 10 to 15 depending on where I'm at. Elevator speeches ready for whatever comes my way. An opportunity comes, I've got an elevator speech for that. Oh, it's that angle? I've got this elevator speech. Oh, you want to talk about investment? I got that elevator speech. Do you guys practice scripts? Do you practice your elevator speeches? Do you rewrite your elevator speeches? Do you read to make yourself better? Want to read a good book on investment? When you're standing in front of an investor, you can talk about cycles. It talks about, you know, the boom, slump, recovery, where we are in the cycle right now. It has examples. And you can stand in front of an investor or Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner and say, you know what? Just read a great book, and I think this is where we are in our recovery. They go, wow, this guy knows a lot. You want to be seen as the expert. When you're seen as the expert, they follow. So what I've been doing lately, to even work this in my lead generation, is I've been phoning all my clients and saying, hey, been reading the headlines? Yeah, brutal headlines out there. Yeah, they've been kind of brutal, but you know what? Do you have any facts to back up those headlines? Headlines are sensational. I've read a great book recently about talking about the cycle and where we are in the cycle, and I would love to send you a free copy of that book. It's a great read. Would you be interested in that book? Absolutely. Okay, when does it work for you? Days, evenings, or weekends? When can we meet? I want to meet with them. I want to sit with them. I want to engage. I want to ask them for an introduction. By the way, do you know anybody else that should know about this book that I can give one to? If you can't afford this book, which if you buy bulk, they're about 19 bucks, 29 I think regularly, or 39, I don't know what it is.
39.
39. I get them for about 20 bucks. So I buy them in bulk. I sign them, right? You can take something just like this and talk about investment. This was a little book that I picked up on the internet, by the way, and I printed it and I photocopied it. Doesn't cost me anything other than photocopying. But again, it makes me look competent and conscious in front of my clients. Setting standards, of course, that's really important. Are you referable? Are you referable? What's the best line you can ask somebody right now? I'll tell you my best line. What's your best line? You have an opportunity. You've met somebody for the first time, an acquaintance, a random acquaintance. You need those people in Starbucks line. Here's the best line I got right now. Kurt, do you know anybody that I should know? Because we've been talking about real estate. And I know you're not ready to buy right now because you said you're going to wait another year to 2 years. But is there anybody that you know that I should know? Because I'm going to be listing a few homes this week, and I've got a couple lined up that are really, really good deals in the McMillan area, which is a really hot area of town right now. So is there anybody that you know that I should know to be talking about those good deals? What a great line, eh?
Good line.
They have to answer it. And by the way, they go, ooh, maybe I shouldn't wait a year. Yeah, I mean, interest rates are 2.89, right? Elevator speech, elevator speech, elevator speech. You can't mess up. Don't steal the day. We all have significant others. We all have people we love, we care about. We have charities that we probably give to. Don't steal your day away from them. Go to work with a mindset that I have to put in a full day's work because my family's relying on me. I do not want to go home and feel guilty that I didn't work as hard as I could have for them or for my charity of choice. Don't steal the day. Pick your clients wisely. Talked about some of my clients that I should have picked more wisely. Get to work on yourself or on you, become more valuable in the marketplace, and it'll certainly help you. Kind of 4 pillars, and I'm going to go through this fairly quickly because we're kind of running out of time. 4 pillars of success. This is what I believe is the 4 pillars of success. Mindset, you need to have some decent marketing, something that says, hey, that's the person I need to. And it doesn't need to be expensive marketing like an electronic billboard, but whatever you produce, make sure that it's sexy. Systems, gotta have systems in place. If you guys want these slides, I can email them to you later. And then you have to have a conversion rate, and that comes through the hard work of lifting of scripts, elevator speeches, curious, deep questions. You gotta have all those things. Create your own economy. And you need to change yourself a little bit. Create some of your own luck. So that Gary Keller's book, The One Thing, if you want to read a great real estate book, it's talking about real estate, real estate, real estate. And the one thing is this. And so often we think our one thing is over here, we want to be really comfortable. But you got to decide what your one thing is and then throw yourself ferociously at that one thing. I mean, ferociously. You know, you talk about your daughter. I had daughters in ball too, and it's crazy the amount of hours and effort they put into becoming great ball players. And she's probably going for a scholarship, right? Yeah. Girl?
One already has, the other one's grade 11, so she's
Great. Great.
crazy family.
I love baseball teams. I sponsored all of Abbotsford softball, all the rep teams. They're fanatical about the game, and the parents are fanatical about the game. So I sponsor the rep teams. So here's another way to be creative to get sponsorship. I'll give a team a sum of money as a sponsor up front at the beginning of the year. I need to meet with all the parents. I need to tell them about Xmas and what I do and where I go and how they can help me because I'm helping them. And I said, you help me, I send you more money. Every time you send me a referral, I send you more money. Another referral, more money.
How much do you give to the beginning
500
part?
bucks.
500.
So I've had.
Do you just offer a night then to offer one night to the parents then for? How do you get in front of them?
I say I won't give you the money till I get to meet all the parents. Mr. and Mrs. Manager set up the appointment, so Saturday night meeting with the team, Tuesday meeting with the team, and.
And you do it about a 10-minute.
Just 10 minutes. Just talk about what I do, what I can do for them, how I'm involved in the community, how I think their girls are great, how you can learn life lessons on the ball field, That's where I got some of my life lessons. That's where my daughters got some of their life lessons. I just want to engage with you. I want you to engage with me. Let's do business together. We all win.
And if you do business, what do you send them? Do you give them that upfront?
I give them money up front to get it going.
Mm-hmm.
And then every referral they send me, I give them another $500. Yeah. Some teams have gotten $3,000 from a year, but $3,000 means that I've done some good
That's
business.
a poker night.
That's right.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, $3 grand.
But you got to keep working it. I need some of Michael's social media help to do that. So return on luck, and we talked about this already. Getting a high return is throwing yourself ferociously at your luck event and disrupting your life. You really need to do that. You need to be ferocious and tenacious at what you do. Pick your one thing and go crazy at it. So,
Go back.
I think we have time. I'm going to tell you a quick random acquaintance story. And you can see in small letters, it's Ray to Oprah. This is my random acquaintance. 2000, it was 2000, the fall of 2000, and there's this guy named Ray in Canada. He comes to Abbotsford. He's the new owner of the RE/MAX office. And at the time I was an owner of another office called Prudential Abbotsford Real Estate. And I was one of 5 owners. Don't become an owner. Moral of the story, don't become an owner. And Ray comes and says, let's have a little chat. And I don't know who this guy is, Ray. Well, within about 2 sessions, we're making a deal. You know Ray, he's always making a deal, right? And before I know it, I've sold our office to Ray. And so February 1st of 2001, I am now a RE/MAX agent, and I've brought the whole team over to RE/MAX. All out of this random acquaintance. So from Ray, I pour myself into RE/MAX, and I realized, wow, what a great organization. By the way, I thought I was a big fish. I thought I was a huge 10Xer at Prudential. I was top dog. I was selling about 70, 75, 80 homes a year, and thought, I've got this thing figured out. I go to my first RE/MAX event, and I meet a guy selling 450 homes.
Oh my goodness.
And I, wow, 450 homes? I'm a minnow in this game. He just swallowed me, right? So I go back and I say, how do I become not a 10Xer, but a 100Xer, right? How do I find a way to sell 400 plus homes? And so through the connection with Ray, the conference, meeting random people at conferences, I start asking curious, deep questions. And I start learning the craft of selling 400 homes. I have had a year where I sold 450 homes. The market was in my favor. Luck was in my favor. Had a couple good projects. But from there, I was asked to be on a top producer panel at one of the RE/MAX events. Fantastic, okay? So then I meet more interesting people. Then head office, just like Michael, they recognized maybe this guy could do something other than just be a realtor. I got asked to be on a TV show that RE/MAX was producing at Chum. You know, I don't know if you remember that real estate show that they had. And I met another interesting acquaintance. His name was Don R. Campbell. Don R. Campbell is the author of this book, author of many books. He's the founder of RAIN. He has, 4,000 members across Canada. And I meet with Don and I have a little chat with him. We talk about some things about real estate and investing. And I don't see Don again for 7 years. Disappears. I don't get involved in RAIN. I should have, but I don't. Last January, I'm sitting at an open house. Who hates open houses? I love them, actually.
I love them.
They're incredible opportunities to meet people. Capture the opportunity. So I'm at this open house, and Don walks in. Don! Randy! We haven't seen each other in 6 or 7 years. Yeah! I'm going, how can I turn this into an opportunity? Randy, pull up all your elevator speeches. Pull up all your data that you know. And start talking smack about investment. one thing leads to another, and I say, Don, you know, I just did a presentation for the Fraser Valley Builders Association on the market for 2012. This is what I presented, and I start rolling through my stats, my slides. Right? He goes, oh, that's pretty interesting stuff. I said, would you like to have a copy of it? Gotta ask. He says, yeah. Next day, I take the PowerPoint presentation, there's video of it. I take my stats that I produce every month, which I call the STR stats, sell-through rate stats. I deliver it to his office. Is Don in? No, Don's not going to be in all week. Okay. Nice card, bit of stuff, right? Leave it. Don't hear anything for 6 weeks. Come out of a listing appointment. Call Melanie from Rain. Never met Melanie. Hey Melanie, it's Randy Dyck. Hey Randy, how you doing? Good. We host an event every month, and we'd like you to do a market update for the Fraser Valley. Are you okay with talking in front of 400 people? Yeah.
Worry about it later.
Worry about it later. I get to speak at Rain. I don't give any information out. I have a booth in the back. I still don't have any information. Give me your email address, I'll send it to you. I now have about 175 Rain members' email. Sorry, Kurt. I think I'm next to. And I send out the stats package every month, which helps me make contacts, produces sales. I just closed a $950,000 sale on Tuesday from a Rain member. Sorry, Kurt. I've had dinner with Don. I've met incredible people along the way, and that's where I ended up with the Oprah event too. I didn't want to go to Oprah, but I wanted to meet other incredible people that gave me opportunities. Rain had a VIP opportunity. I took that VIP opportunity, went to the 49th floor of the Shangri-La, we had a pre-party, met some incredible people that, again, 6 weeks from now, who knows, might get a phone call. I might need to make a phone call, but I don't know where it's going to end. I am betting on a high return on that lock. High, high, high return. So that's my 10x luck, random acquaintance events. And there's many others in between there, but I'm just trying to pick and choose. So let's finish off with the back half of my luck story. You remember that I'd said I'd spent the one day of my time in the hospital. It's going to be almost 2 months. Well, in those 2 months, many things happened. I got into a routine. I got into my one thing, survival. I got into my routine of trying to work through how this life is going to look like. But by a few days out, I started getting a lot more movement. So I was lucky. I didn't sever my spinal cord. I traumatized everything in my neck. C3, 4, and 5, C1's your top, 3, 4, and 5 are all wired solid to this day. I crushed everything there, but I didn't sever the spinal cord. It's intact. A little bit of luck. The doctor said, good thing you weren't wearing a helmet that day.
What?
Really?
The helmet would have been heavy here, and it could have thrown my head more to sever the spinal cord.
Oh. Wow.
Good thing I'm a twin. Competitive by nature. Twins are very competitive. Good thing I had a twin because he's my physiotherapist. Didn't have a physiotherapist. They sent me home one day and said, you're on your own. It was about 2 months in the hospital. My brother shows up, my little brother shows up to visit me. And the doctor walks in and says, this is your brother, right? And I said, yeah, it is. He says, I think today you're going to go home. Go home? This is everything I know. Remember the one thing? That was my sweet spot. This is everything I knew. I knew that at 8 o'clock the nurse was going to come by and say good morning. I knew at about 8:15 I was going to get breakfast, stinky, ugly breakfast, that I'd ordered the day before, picked what I wanted. I knew that I'd have to get up and go to the bathroom, because now I didn't have a catheter anymore, which was really cool. I knew that they'd get me up and make me shuffle down the hall. I could go about 50 feet one way, 50 feet back, and I was toast. I was just literally exhausted. Had the big neck brace on, you know, it was just like a stoic walking around. I'd sit in the chair for maybe 20 minutes, and I was done. Get me back into bed. Oh yeah, the halo that I wore, the scars, I was starting to pick at the scars by this point because I didn't have the halo anymore. But I was comfortable. I learned to live in that environment, and I was getting by. I adjusted. But now the doctor was saying, no, Randy, you gotta go and get out of that comfort zone. Really? Anyways, my brother did end up taking me home. I could only sit again for about 15 to 30 minutes. He had a hatchback. He laid me down in the back of the hatchback. I laid in this car all the way home. Didn't know what I was watching. And I spent the next year working at getting out of my comfort zone and learning how to do everything again. My brother would say, let's go and play basketball. You're going to win this time. So we played basketball until I won. So I got a great return on luck. No helmet, incredible team of doctors, being born a twin, the physiotherapist, shaping and forming who I am. There's crucibles in our lives that shape us and form us. There's crucibles in real estate that shape us and form us. I'm not going to sell another bacon house. Right? I had a bad experience with a developer. I'm not going to take on another bad developer. We have to use these things to shape us and form our businesses. And that's the approach I took in 1992, do or die. I had a car payment, I had a house payment, I had a kid, I had another kid on the way, and somehow we made it all work on about $1,200 a month. I don't know how we did it. It was do or die. Do or die. I did not want to fail. I did not want to fail. I did not want to disappoint the people around me. I did not want to disappoint the people that trusted in me, my wife, my kids. And I still live that way today. It's kind of that prairie farmer mentality. You just can't fail. There's going to be next year. Next year we're going to get the rains. Next year the crop's going to be good. Tomorrow I'm going to get more luck. So, return on luck. Getting a high return is throwing yourself ferociously at the luck event and disrupting your life. Return on luck.